What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions live stream. Appreciate all of you in the live chat right now. Look, guys, we're on a tight schedule. I got literally 29 minutes before I got to jump over to BKFC, so we are going to fire through these picks. My apologies, I won't be able to read all of your guys' comments. Hopefully, we have a few minutes at the end where I can catch up on some of them. Let's get right into it because we have a long night ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. BKFC and then 15 fights on the Deep Osaka card. We ain't sleeping, ladies and gentlemen. We're going all night up in this motherfucker. Let's get right into it. Andre Lima versus Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo taking this fight on short notice. Very short notice. Just a few days there. Lima 8-0 as a pro. Got a bit in the arm, a disqualification win in his last fight. Mitch Raposo, a pretty good regional guy in his own right. You guys might recognize him from The Ultimate Fighter. It was the Volkanovski Ortega season. I'm going to go with Andre Lima on this one. Now, if this wasn't a short notice fight, I'd have a little bit more to say. I probably would still pick Lima, but at the end of the day, I do think he's just a more dangerous thing. His striking's better. His takedown defense is awesome. He's good at getting back up to his feet. And yeah, again, like Mitch Raposo, he's good. Short notice. I don't know. Lima just seemed dialed to at like the ceremonial weigh-ins, and he's just prepared for this one. A relatively quick turnaround, but he's prepared for this one nonetheless. Now, Raposo does have finishing ability, so there is that. I mean, everybody has a puncher's chance, right? But no, I'm going with the 5 KO TKO tattooed over the bite mark motherfucker in Andre Lima. And yeah, no surprise, he's the favorite in this one. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Jocelyn Edwards against Aylin Perez. Some beef between these two as they did get into it one time at the UFC PI. I don't know, man. Jocelyn Edwards is awful. She's awful. I have never, ever liked any of her fights. Not one. Maybe I'm a little more critical of her, as some people in my live chats before have been like, oh, no, she's not that bad. I don't think she's good at all. Do I think Perez is any better? Hardly, but that little bit is why I'm picking her to win. She's going to out-grapple the fuck out of Jocelyn Edwards. Edwards is the better striker, but she can get ragdolled. So we're going with Perez at minus 190. Both of them ain't good. Who cares? Moving on to the next one. We have Bassil Hafez against Mickey Gall. Now, Mickey Gall at one point was cut from the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is he just still around here? Is the UFC still just hanging on to this guy here? Did he ever go and fight on the regionals? I thought in 2020 he was cut. No, I guess he wasn't cut. That's crazy, man. It's wild that they're... I mean, I got Mickey Gall seems cool. I listened to a few of his podcast appearances, but I've never been super high on him. He got such a huge early push to the UFC, as we all know. And Bassil Hafez, minus 400 here. I mean, he's had one UFC fight. It was a short notice fight. Wasn't tested for anything at that point coming in. But no, he looked really good against JDM. Let's be honest. And again, just how is Mickey Gall still in the UFC? I thought at one point he was cut and then like went back to the regional for like a fight or two, and then the UFC was like, all right, you got some reps, come back. But no, he's just still been here. I like Hafez. That is my pick. He's a dog. He looked good against JDM on short notice. He did gas towards the end of the fight there, but put on a very good, strong, and fast pace early. His takedowns are good. His grappling is good. Now, I know Mickey Gall has good jiu-jitsu, but I just think, yeah, the pace and pressure that Hafez is going to put on him will be too much. He's got a good chin. He's actually got decent power and just seems like the tougher fighter all around. 32 years of age, 1 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 3 decisions, 4-2-1 in Cage Fury FC. And obviously took on Jack Della Maddalena on short notice. Beat a 15-5 guy before that, 8-5, 8-0 in Christian Savoie. And that's his best win there. Split draw against 3-1 guy when he was 3-1. He took on a 6-3 guy when he was 2-1. Yeah, I was impressed with him in his last fight. So we're going with Hafez. All right, moving up the card, we got Phil Rowe against Jake Matthews. Phil Rowe, the Fresh Prince, who's been very active in grappling as of late, and actually taking on some like pretty high level grapplers. Now he's been losing a lot in grappling, but he's been kind of out of his element against, you know, some of the best, the Craig Jones of the world, throwing up crazy ass submissions. I'm pretty sure he did roll with like Gordon Ryan last year as well. He's been honing that craft. So like, you may look at those losses on paper and be like, okay, he's not a good grappler. No, actually in MMA against the likes of like, say, a Jake fucking Matthews, you know, if he wanted to employ the grappling, I don't even say he probably could. He could, 100%. He's a little bit taller. He's a little bit lankier. I'm going with Phil Rowe. I like this underdog. Look, the Magny fight was awful. The Magny fight was awful, okay? We're over that shit. We've turned the page now. He's rangy. He actually has power. He had 3 straight knockouts before that loss to Neil Magny. Hadley, honestly, like, Matthews, how many good wins has Matthews had? I mean, when he beat Fialho, we were all like, okay, he beat this guy coming into the UFC who's a dangerous striker, but everybody seemed to crack Fialho there. He's good in the pocket. I don't think Phil Rowe's going to let him in the pocket. I think Phil Rowe's going to keep this at range or employ grappling up against the cage. Maybe try to do what he couldn't do to Neil Magny, land some elbows, do a little bit more damage. And if he needs to take this to the ground, I do think he'll dominate Jake Matthews there. 19-7 for the Celtic kid, 29 years of age, 5 KO TKO, 8 submissions, 6 decision. He is well-rounded. I just think Phil Rowe's a way better grappler than him. Not even just stronger, just he's more experienced, and he's got the body type as well, being a lot more lanky. 12-7 in the UFC, 3-0 for Matthews. He lost to Morales, beat Darius Flower. Like, I mean, he lost to friggin' Semi the Jedi. Yeah. Li Jingliang, that's a good win. Back in 2018. Like I said, 3 straight knockouts for Phil Rowe. I think if it stays on the feet, he's going to piece up Jake Matthews on the feet. If it goes to the clinch, he's going to dominate in the clinch. And if it goes to the ground, he's going to be the one dictating it. So we're going with the underdog, Phil Rowe. All right, moving up the card, we got Grant Dawson against Joe Solecki. Both of these guys coming off brutal knockouts in their last fight. Joe Solecki was slammed to the ground and got knocked the fuck out by Drakkar Klose. Grant Dawson, obviously, against Bobby Green. This one was only 5 months ago, 7 months ago. So still with a relatively short time to come off of knockouts each. Both 30 years of age. Solecki, a little bit more. He's a better grappler than Grant Dawson, in my opinion. But I think Grant Dawson is just a little bit more well-rounded, and he's got a little bit more, pop in his shots. He hits harder. So I'm going to go with Grant Dawson. Huge favorite here. I don't think Joe Solecki is bad. Like he's fine. He's just not great. And do I think Grant Dawson's great? No, but like I said, I just think he's more well-rounded and hits harder. A little chinny, though, as we saw in his last fight there. I just think the better striking and power is going to carry him in this one. And I think he can hold his own in the grappling, too, if Joe Solecki wants to employ that or does employ that. So, I mean, surprise, surprise. I'm going with the -520 favorite here in Grant Dawson. All right, moving on to the next one. Oh, my favorite fighter in the UFC, right behind Rose Namajunas. Great. Jailton Almeida against Alexander Romanov. What the fuck are we doing, UFC? Going with Almeida, dude. I mean, he seems like a good person, at least. I hate him as a fighter, though. I absolutely despise him. I think he's a disgrace to the sport, especially coming from being a boxer. He's going to ragdoll friggin' stretch mark Romanov, though. He's going to lay on him for 2 rounds. He might sub him in the 3rd. Shoot, he might even sub him in the 2nd. As soon as Romanov can't get back up to his feet or can't scramble, it's over. Jailton Almeida. Who the fuck cares? I'm so glad this is not on on the pay-per-view. Roman Kopylov against César Almeida. Now, this is the fight. This is the fight that I think has everybody divided, right? Do we go with the experienced guy in MMA, or do we go with the vastly more experienced striker in kickboxing in César Almeida? César Almeida 5-0 as a pro, proved he can strike against a well-rounded MMA guy in that of Dylan Budka, who I thought Dylan Budka would be able to employ his wrestling. I know he was a high-level high school wrestler, and I know that that's high school, it's not college or anything like that, but there was still that base that he could employ in César Almeida. Man, great performance in his last fight. Roman Kopylov, on the other hand, got subbed in his last fight to Anthony Hernandez, but I think we all know how good Anthony Hernandez is, and it was a good fight. It was a good fight. Before then, he was on a tear. Mind you, not against the best opponents, but he was knocking guys out left, right, and center. For those who don't know, Novosibirsk, I mean, that's a crazy-ass place in Russia to grow up and be from. The only reason I know that is because, I don't know personally, but followed some hockey players who came out of there, and they're savages as well, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. So with me, it's like, do I think he's going to do well in MMA now? Yes. That was answered in his last two fights. Is he ready for this step up in competition? I'm going to say no. I like Kopylov as the underdog here. I'm going to say no. And again, this one really could go either way because they both like to strike. But here's the thing. I'm going to go with the experience pick one more time. If Almeida gets through him easy or has a tough fight, but is the clear winner, you know, none of this back and forth. Oh, well, he should have won in that split. Just, no, I don't agree with it. If we all can see that, he won the fight. He won the fight. Even if it's a split, if the majority of us are like, okay, the 2 rounds go to him, then you know what? I'll be like, next pick, next time he fights, I'm probably going to believe in him a little bit more. But a 5-0 guy, being just thrusted in against Kopylov. Now I'm going with the more experienced guy. Budka employed very low fight IQ in his last fight. And Kopylov, though his grappling's not great, he has been, or historically hasn't been good. He's been working on it a lot this last year. Now, it didn't help him much against Hernandez, but Hernandez is fucking good everywhere, man. The point I'm trying to make is it's an option for Kopylov where it's really not for Almeida. Let's be perfectly honest. It's really not for Almeida. So I'm not sold on him yet. Even in his UFC, in his MMA, I was going to say MMA rise. He only has 5 freaking fights. Other than Budka, he hasn't KO'd anyone of note, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's going to matter, but Kopylov can take a punch, right? Kopylov can take a punch. Now, does Almeida have that death touch? I guess we'll see. Yeah, I'm going with Roman Kopylov. He has the option to employ more tools in mixed martial arts than just scrap. And if this gets past the first round, Kopylov might feel himself a little bit and be like, okay, the danger is over with. And we've seen Kopylov have slow starts before. Mind you, not against a dangerous striker coming from Gloria guy who's obviously, like we all know now, he's fought Alex Pereira. He's beat Alex Pereira. We all know that. But yeah, we're going with Kopylov on this one. Moving on to Rude Boy Randy Brown against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Here's another one that's been that I've seen online and everyone go back and forth with. Randy Brown looked awesome in his last fight. He looked awesome in his last fight. He actually looked really good against a Wellington Turman as well. I keep picking against Randy Brown. I got nothing against him. Like, he's fine. And I'm picking against him here today as well. Roll your eyes, motherfuckers. Roll your eyes. I don't give a shit. I'm going with Dos Santos, another underdog here. I know Randy Brown's a good rangy striker. I know he's come from a boxing base, and now his MMA striking is just chef's kiss on point. Obviously, he's a little bit chinny. We've seen that recently. But I haven't seen the steep decline of Dos Santos yet. Now, in his last fight, it wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't great. I love his kicks. And whether he can't go high, or even though he probably won't go high against the much taller Randy Brown in this one, he's got the legs, dude. He's got the legs. And that's definitely going to throw Randy Brown off. And then he can start faking, maybe going to the body as well. He's tough as nails, way more experience. And I don't think this is going to be the fall-off fight. I really don't. Now, could I be wrong in this one? Absolutely. This is probably the wrong pick on the card for me. This is probably the worst pick that I can make. Brown is a solid power puncher, as well as a good boxing background. And he's obviously really good at range. But I don't know. I think Dos Santos gets his last good win here. His last good win here against Randy Brown. Do I think he finishes him? No. I don't think he finishes him. I don't think he lands like a freaking spinning heel kick to his face again. The size difference between them height-wise and everything. He's not going to be that rangy kicker that he can be against guys who are his height or shorter than him, right? But I do think he poses more of a threat than Salikov. And I loved Salikov, don't get me wrong. Now, this could just be another older fighter that Randy Brown takes out. But yeah, I'm going with Dos Santos on this one. Hopefully, this isn't the start of the steep decline. All right, next we got Niko Price against Alex Morono. Speaking of declines, this is the rematch, by the way. Niko Price actually knocked out Alex Morono a few years back. That got turned, was it to a no contest? Because, yeah, no contest. Oh, that's Cerrone's. Because Niko Price was smoking the reefer and got dinged for marijuana. Alex Morono, 24-9, quick turnaround for him as well. I mean, this guy just lives and breathes mixed martial arts. He's either training, teaching, or doing the broadcast for Fury FC when he's not fighting in the UFC. Though he's kind of awkward, though he doesn't have the power that a lot of welterweights have in his division, I do think he's one of those better guys outside the top 15, where it's like, if you can get past Alex Morono, it's like, okay, that's the step up in that division, because he's good everywhere, not great everywhere, and he's sound in his technique, where Niko Price in his heyday was dangerous, but Niko Price is wild. And I haven't seen anything to suggest recently. Now, we haven't seen him fight, much long or for that long, as Philip Rowe knocked him out, Robbie Lawler knocked him out. I haven't seen anything recently to show me that Niko Price has kind of tightened things up a little bit, is fighting a little bit more. Conservative is the wrong word, but smart, I guess. I guess conservative could be the right word, in that, like, it's not as wild, it's not as unpredictable. And sometimes that shoots him sometimes he shoots himself in the foot with that. Because he goes for it sometimes a little too aggressively and leaves himself open. He likes to sacrifice his defense to get that big shot. And when he was younger, when he could take a punch a little bit easier, when he could take more punches, he was able to employ that style. And I mean, I loved watching Niko Price. It kind of, and again, one of those guys who just seems like such a good dude as well. Apparently he has 6 or 7 kids too, so he needs that money. He needs that money. He needs that win here. But I'm going with Morono. He just looked a lot better as of late. I don't think it's going to be a knockout. Despite Price being a bit chinny, I don't think Morono knocks him out. Morono, yeah, decent striker, decent wrestling, decent jiu-jitsu. He's good everywhere, but not great anywhere. Obviously, Price, like I said, is a little bit more wild, and he's knocked out Morono before. Maybe he can do it again. I don't think Price is going to go for a takedown here, try to take this to the ground. I do think he's going to try to keep this on the feet. And Alex Morono has been pretty active as of late too. Fresh. Yeah, I just don't trust Niko Price in this one. We're going Alex Morono. All right, featured fight here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kevin Holland versus Michał Oleksiejczuk. Kevin Holland moving up to 180 or 185. He's going up to middleweight again. And he's gone up and down middleweight, welterweight the last few years. Definitely has that power at welterweight more than he does at middleweight. But it's not like Oleksiejczuk is much bigger than him. Now, will he have maybe a little bit of a strength advantage? Maybe, because maybe he walks around at like 200, whereas Kevin Holland walks around at like 190. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Michel prayer absolutely schooled him. He did knock out Chitty. Lost to Kaibo Ohio, who's really good. I mean, Cody Brundage is horrendous. Sam Alvey, I mean, like, this is the thing with Michał Oleksiejczuk. He has the pieces there. It's just like I haven't seen it other than against Chitty. Well, Chitty hasn't been really good as of late either. There's nothing recently, anyways, in the UFC that's really impressed me from him. Whereas Kevin Holland, I mean, I can kind of say the same thing about Kevin Holland too, though. I just trust his striking a little bit more. And even when Kevin Holland loses, he hasn't been just like straight up knocked out in a while. Like the TKO against Stephen Thompson, he wasn't just flat out knocked out. He was getting worn down and beat there at the end. And honestly, if he actually took this to the ground and employed his jiu-jitsu, he might have had a way better chance. So he probably would have won the fight. Doesn't have necessarily the best wrestling. His scrambles are good, though, because of his jiu-jitsu. He's more of a, I don't want to say he's a wrestler, but has more of like a wrestling style of grappling versus more of like a finesse Brazilian jiu-jitsu style that Kevin Holland would employ if he employed it in his UFC fights. Man, I mean, this one could be like Oleksiejczuk. He's a good underdog, especially because Kevin Holland's moving up here and relatively short notice as well. But I think I'm going to go with Trailblazer on this one. Again, Michał, the tough wrecking ball of a fighter. Kevin Holland, good striker, has power, but we'll see if he has the power against the likes of Oleksiejczuk at 185. Good jiu-jitsu. If he does want to take, if this fight is going to happen on the ground, I think Kevin Holland, if he gets it to the ground, if he reverses, then you'll have the advantage. Again, his takedowns aren't great. He's good at getting the body lock and dragging you to the ground near the cage, right? Or that's his way to get you to the ground. Where like Oleksiejczuk, a little bit more powerful, a little bit more just brute force. Not to say that he like blasts double legs or single legs left, right, and center either, but I just feel like his traditional takedowns will be easier to employ than that of Kevin Holland employing those on him. So yeah, having my notes here, I don't think Kevin Holland will get the finish since he is fighting at a smaller weight class, but I do think he pieces him up on the outside. I don't think Oleksiejczuk will ragdoll Holland without making mistakes and getting caught in a bad scramble. I see this going decision, and I see Trailblazer getting this one done. All right, co-main event of the evening, guys. I want to pick Paulo Costa so bad, and it's not that like I hate Sean Strickland or anything like that. I just want to see the eraser get an upset. I want to see a knockout. We almost saw it with Rob Whittaker. 5 rounds, man. The first 2 rounds are gonna be where we have our eyes like wide open, right? Looking for Costa to walk Strickland down, the 1-2 head kick, right? That's what we're looking for. Nixick and Strickland, I mean, they game plan so well, dude. They know that that's coming. They know that that's the eraser's move that lands on everyone. I don't think Strickland's going to parry and parry a lot. Like, he's going to. It's natural for him, but I don't think he's going to parry and get caught in that too much. I'm sure they were drilling like, this is what Costa's going to do. This is what Costa's going to do. And I don't think he's going to be on the back foot. That is Sean Strickland. Because if you fight Paulo Costa, you got to walk forward to him. You can't let him walk you down. I got Sean Strickland on this one. 5 rounds, man. It gets past the second round. It's Sean Strickland's fight. Let's be perfectly honest. The straight right or the 1-2 head kick, it's there for Costa in the first 2 rounds. He's going to slow down. Like every single fight that we have ever seen Paulo Costa in, he slows down when it goes the distance, okay? Altitude or no altitude. Sean Strickland has better range. He's got the better jab. He is the better boxer. He's got better cardio. He can fight at a higher pace. He's going to jab and get the better exchanges from Costa. Again, I said it before. The 1-2 and Costa, the straight right and the combo to hit that head kick. It's dangerous, but it's going to get less and less dangerous as the fight goes on. I don't think we see the upset here, but if Costa does pressure early, there's a chance. It's just crazy how like that the loss to DDP in that close fight, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Costa's gonna now like erase Sean Strickland. It's like, dude, do you not see that fight with DDP? He's a tough motherfucker. That is Sean Strickland. And like the only guy who knocked him the fuck out recently was Death Touch Alex Pereira. So we're going with Sean Strickland on this one. But and this is no like disdain towards Strickland or anything. I'm rooting for Eraser Borrachina to get that knockout, because just what it would just be so fucking middleweight for that to happen, right? It would be so fucking UFC middleweight for that to happen. All right, main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, Islam Makhachev against Dustin Poirier. Kind of like with Costa here, I want to see the big upset. I want to see Poirier crack him. I want to see Poirier pull the ghillie and actually get it. It ain't gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. I truly don't believe it's gonna happen. Like I said, I'm rooting for the big upset here. I'm rooting for the diamond, but at the ceremonial weigh-ins, Poirier's getting all pumped up. Makhachev just still, man. He didn't even twitch. Like, oh. Like, he reminded me of Alex Pereira the way he looked at him, except he had a cunning, fucking evil smile where Pereira just kind of looks at you stone cold. Yeah, I mean, whether Makhachev wants to close the distance and just take this to the ground, or if he just wants to quickly just shoot right away, I think he's going to try to get this one over and done with quickly. And Makhachev's striking has come a long way. He actually has power if he hits you. I think he's either going to have a smothering pace if Dustin Poirier does a good job of moving well, keeping on the outside, being active and light on his feet. I think Islam Makhachev will be, okay, I'm going to get a hold of you, get you to the ground, and try to employ what Khabib did to you. But Makhachev's a little bit more well-rounded, as he's been employing more tools than Khabib, especially recently. I kind of hope he challenges Poirier and walks forward like he used to, because that's where Poirier can catch people, like he did with Benoit Saint Denis, like he did with Michael Chandler a couple times in their fight, and like Makhachev was when he was knocked out in the UFC. He kind of just walked forward like Khabib did, throwing those just pressure shots, whereas now he's very good with the step back. He reads what you're going to do in counters, and his kicks have become more impressive as well. I don't think this gets past 2. I really don't think this gets past 2. Like I said, rooting for the diamond, but rooting for the diamond because of the big upset. I'm neither like a Poirier fan or hater. Neither am I with Islam Makhachev either. I want to see chaos. I want to see chaos. I want to see the lightweight division further get scrambled here, especially with an old dog like Dustin Poirier winning this one. So, and it wouldn't be an immediate rematch because Islam Makhachev has only defended his belt against a 145er. So, going Makhachev on this one. Locking it in. Okay, I got like 2 minutes. I'll take some recent comments here. Hey, what's up, Michał? Good to see you. Dustin seems nervous. What's up, Charles? I need to start training with Matt Rempe. Doesn't seem even more nervous than usual. Makhachev seems oddly lucid for someone who's usually quite vacant. Islam sub 2, 3, or 4. I'm rooting for DP. I'm more conservative with the decision, but a late round KO makes sense too. Yeah, guys, I won't be able to catch up on all your comments here, but I will give every one of you a shout out here. Curtis Clark, Michael Francisco, Charles Barkley, Amberly, Hank the Tank, Illcat, Activate A. Sorry I couldn't be as interactive as I usually am with these streams. We're on a tight schedule here, guys. I got to jump over to BKC literally now and then all night. We're streaming all night deep. It's probably going to go till 4 a.m. So, guys, start brewing your coffee now. Charles Barkley! What's up, all Jays? Keep up the good work, man. You're crushing it with your content. I see it. Trust me, I may not be commenting in your live chat or in your live streams. I may not be there a lot, but I always try to like, and your content's you're killing it with your content right now. So keep up the good work. Who else was here? Oh, what's up, Ganska? I'm so sorry I wasn't able to do Karate Combat last night, man. Hernan, it's great to see you as well. Joshua, Oster Ryan. Fuck, you guys are amazing. Sean, Degenerate Dane, AJ. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me as I fired through my picks here today. I think this was the shortest prediction stream we have ever done. All night, baby. All night. I'm a certified Dustin hater, but I'm rooting for him for the first time since the Khabib fight. Let's go. Yeah, I don't even think Mr. Grant Gregory's rooting for Dustin this one either. And he's not a fan of Dustin either. Okay, guys, we're going to jump over to BKFC. We'll probably start that stream. What's up, Bill Cat? We're going to start that stream in literally 4 minutes. I'm going to fill up my water bottle. I'm going to grab a wobbly pop on hand, and then we're going to watch some of these bare knucks prospects kick fucking ass, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, last thing before we end, we got our safe and degenerate parlay of the week. Safe parlay, we got Strickland, Almeida, Morono. Degen, we're going full Funk Master Flay Degen today, ladies and gentlemen. Poirier, Gall, Raposo. That is it for the predictions video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you literally in 4 minutes on BKFC. We got Deep Impact Osaka round 2 2024 after that 12 at midnight Eastern, and then tomorrow morning we got boxing and of course UFC 302. See you guys on the other side. Thank you so much for joining. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you for BKFC in a few minutes. Peace. Yeah.